In the last session, we were asking ourselves, why is it I can't stop? What's stopping me? What am I believing I need this habit or addiction for? Why can't I close the door? And if you're like so many people I've worked with, there's some real legitimate anxiety going on when you think of closing the door. But here's the truth. Addiction is a liar. It's a liar. Those habits that you can't beat is a liar. It promises relief, solutions, happiness, and well-being, but it doesn't produce any of that. Our intentions were good. We wanted relief. We're feeling bad. We're escaping something. But how much better to solve the reasons we're escaping? Exposing those lies and working on that than it is to try to escape over and over again. It's only relieving symptoms. An addiction creates its own need for more. And this is a key principle. And I'm going to argue with you on it, okay? Because you may not buy it, but think of your own situation. Let's look at it, okay? Addiction creates its own need for more, starting the addiction cycle all over again. Don't let that point pass you now. Addiction has a rebound effect, and a lot of what we feel we need the addiction for, in reality, is the addiction's need to quiet its own symptoms. That's right. I can't overemphasize that. When you understand that and you figure that out, you'll have the real gumption then to say, hey, this is crazy. If I can get through this withdrawal, if I can get through this time of being without, and I know I won't have these problems. It's the addiction that is causing a lot of it. Well, let's go into that some more. Okay, it's going to take some convincing. Addiction's like having a scraped elbow. The wound forms a scab that begins to itch when it heals, and the itch compels us to do what? Scratch it. Putting the wound back to square one, starting the re-healing process, which eventually begins itching all over again. So what's the real problem? The original scrape, the scab, or the scratching? At this point, it's the scratching. Originally it could have been, hey, the scrape. Some emotional things started us, okay, on the way, and we took something that created then and scabbed it over. We thought we were putting something on that wound that was going to take care of it, but then it starts itching. And that's what happens. It's the itch that we're reacting to of the addiction that causes it to perpetuate. If we don't work on what caused the addiction in the first place, we won't eliminate the need for addiction. That's what we really need to work on. But instead, we're in this addiction loop. We're in this addiction loop by satisfying the craving that our addiction actually causes. Now, please, don't confuse this with not wanting to quit. If you could find a genie, right, a bottle, and have one wish granted, that you could wake up in the morning with no desire to ever have your addiction again and no fear of quitting, you'd jump at the chance. Of course you would. Who wouldn't? Just think of it. No repercussions and no desire for it. Of course you want to quit. And here's the good news. You can wake up that way. You can be a non-addicted person. But there needs to come a choice. And that is, I'm going to be abstinence. And that's the biggest hurdle for so many people. They'd much rather say, hey, I'll be sober. But all you're doing when you're saying I'm going to be sober is I'm not going to drink until I drink again. Or, I'll just do it once, right? Or I'll be okay this time. Abstinence says, no, I don't want it. I'm not going to do it anymore. And what would you believe your life will be if you're without your substance of choice or without that habit? Many people never find out because they never completely shut the door. They may quit, but deep down they've left the door open just in case. As much as they dislike or even hate the addiction or the choice, the thought of never having it actually frightens them. It's a chemical reaction. We're living in the primitive part of our brain. It's there saying, I've got to have it. I need it. I need it. And it's the difference between committing to staying sober and being abstinent. It's a state of mind that the addicted brain is in. Now, if you're like others who've come to the point and say, I have to quit, why can't I stop? Then you're probably having many reasons that you really don't want to completely shut the door. Let's look at some, okay? Take a look at the bottom of page 5 and check off some reasons why you don't want to quit. And be honest with yourself. Look at those things. Is this what's going to happen if you quit? And because of that, because of these reasons, maybe I shouldn't. Take a look at them and then come back. I hope you looked at that list and you were able to check off some because they're real. And no doubt you could probably list other examples. Addiction has brainwashed us to this extent, right? But here's some facts. None of the things on that list have to happen to you. You can correct everything on that list. You're not sacrificing anything when you choose to become abstinent. Instead, really, you're not sacrificing at all. You're actually gaining so much more. Now, the next lesson, we're going to talk about how addiction perpetuates itself in this vicious cycle. So go back again. Take a look at what we just went over. Ask yourself, is this really going to happen, or can I really change these things if I quit? Does this really have to happen, or am I just scared? And take a look at that and then come back for the next session. Thanks for joining us today with Breaking Bad Habits. Please share this video with others. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of the exciting things that we send out. Continue to join us here on the Ron Ovitt YouTube channel, and you can also find other materials that we have at ronovitt.com. That's ronovitt.com.